Welcome to the Indie Author Showcase. I'm Chad Robert Morgan,
And I'm Alexander Robert Morgan.
otherwise known as Hickey Boy.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, if your girlfriend's going to keep branding you like a goddamn cow, I swear to God.
I am okay with being branded. More than okay, actually. Alright. I am more than okay with being branded. It is a good, great time. I recommend it to everyone. My girlfriend, that's off limits. Sorry. What was I gonna say?
Well, let me start by putting in a couple of erratas here. Okay. So, previous podcast, um, we were talking about how I was on the Sex and Horror podcast,
Wow.
and Dicey Grinner had asked me this question about um, sex with a robot versus a demon versus yada yada yada.
Yes, we've been on this.
Yes, and you have apparently been on it for some time because
Yes.
you have extrapolated this to like centaurs, dryads. I mean, you're putting
One, we expanded it. Two, it's because this question has been asked to almost everyone I know. It is now a basis for how I judge you as a person, on who you would smash, a demon, vampire. This is how I
is
judge
that like
people
the
now.
question on Jujutsu Kaisen is like
Yes, what type of woman is your type? Exactly, but see, this is how I can tell. You're basic, right? Some people, right, they want to really just bow on some robots, right? They just want to bend over the table, clang, 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 clang. Yeah.
like a robot chicken sketch.
Yes, but some people, they just want to go with like vampires being number one. That's basic. Demons being number one. Vampires being number two, completely fine. But vampires being number one, a little basic.
There was actually a YouTube series where the guy got zapped into Zelda and
Yeah.
was forced to be Link,
Yeah.
and Felicia Day played, I forget the character's name, but like the little pixie.
Navi.
Yeah. And they banged. But of course, she's like this big. So it's just showing him on the ground going, oh, no, like convulsions and everything like that because she's too small to be seen. And she's,
Okay.
so, and that's what just reminded me of. Anyway, point I'm bringing this up because she mentioned that on another one of her podcasts that she had asked me the question. And how I was saying demons were a hard no. And she was like, maybe there was some like religious thing or something like that. So for the record, I'm pretty agnostic, right?
Counterpoint: if it was a religious thing, would that make it harder because you're like going to? Because it's risque.
Point being, um, I had no like Catholic values that were getting in my way. It's just, but it did bring a fair point that I was thinking of demons in a Roman Catholic mindset, right? Can you not do that?
Yeah, I was thinking Baldur's Gate 3.
See, but the point being is that in a more Roman Catholic Western idea of a demon, they're here simply to corrupt and steal your soul. There's, they're just pure evil, etc., etc. But it did get me to think that I was thinking about the question in Western views, whereas, like, how many times have demons been the hero in anime, right? So I think the term demon is kind of has a different connotation in Eastern culture than it does in Western culture. So that kind of got me to thinking that that might change my perspective depending on how we're defining demon.
That's the number one, no matter what for me. I'm honestly locked in on this. No matter what, bam!
I'm not banging Satan. Have you not watched the end of Pick a Destiny?
Back over the table, bam! That's what I'm doing. No matter what, demon.
Yeah, no, the demon's going to do that to you.
Win-win.
They're demons. They will put in a strap on full of thorns and go at it. Yeah.
Win-win.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, just wanted to bring that up. It was not due to any religious thing. I don't have any It's just, but like I said, it did get me thinking that I was thinking in a Western mindset, and if I kind of expanded that. Another errata I wanted to put in is the other day we were talking about the economic impact of the threats of tariffs, and I was talking about how that might affect our business because the paints that we get are imported from England, or not England, Europe. I said that I thought they had come from Italy. They don't come from Italy, they come from Spain. Vallejo paints is in Spain. I looked that up when I was editing. On the video, I actually put a correction on there, but if you're listening to the podcast, you wouldn't have heard that. So just want to make that correction. Vallejo paints are from Spain, and I really dig Vallejo paints. They're my go-to brand for when I'm creating our monsters. Um, Although we do have several of the Citadel and the Army Warhammer paints. I haven't messed with the Citadel ones yet too much, but the Army paint ones, not Warhammer, but the Warf. There's another paint set that we sometimes those are also good, but Vallejo is sort of my go-to. So, but they are from Spain, not Italy.
Now that you're done with your boring stuff.
Now I got one more. One
Oh.
more. Because as so one thing that we do to help market the podcast is I have this program that I subscribe to called Opus Clip, right? They take the podcast and it's an AI program that basically snips it, formats it for Instagram and TikTok, automatically publishes it, and it tries to cut what it thinks are going to be clickbaity, for lack of a better term, right? So when we were talking about the tariffs or the threat of tariffs, the point of that podcast was to talk about the economic impact or the potential economic impact, to be fair. Okay. The goal was not to get deep into the politics, right? We're trying to stay apolitical in this podcast. Not that we don't have political beliefs or biases, but we want to keep them out of the podcast, right?
Right.
Right.
Sorry, I'm reading my book.
Yeah, you're reading a dictionary. So, but because of the Opus clip going, snippity snip, uh, there's a couple of those that got quite a few interesting comments, as you can imagine. And I think at one point on one of the TikTok videos, there was actually this whole like comment war between these two guys. They're bitching back and forth at each other and everything like that. Um, so anyway, just wanted to clarify that the purpose of that was to discuss the potential economic impacts that would affect us as indie authors, not trying to get into the politics of it. Just wanted to clarify that.
Can I get into my more interesting stuff?
No,
Oh, schmucks.
because I just wanted to tease you with that. I did want to also say that we're probably going to do about 2 more episodes this year, and then we're going to wrap it up for the holidays, and then pick it up again in January. Although, and this is something I think we need to discuss, I am thinking of having a best of in January and actually give Indie Author Showcase Awards. What do you think about that?
Okay.
You like that idea?
Yeah.
All right. So and now to give us basically the winter break to decide who we're going to give awards to,
Right.
and then actually have an award to give out.
Now on to the more interesting stuff, which is me. First thing you mentioned my book, my dictionary.
Yes, you have a dictionary.
But this is no ordinary dictionary,
No, this is
Father.
a freaky dictionary.
This is a freaky dictionary because it's French.
This is a horror movie waiting to happen.
Imagine me walking with two friends. We're going back to school from Coffee Bean. I just had half of a file chocolate croissant, right? Chocolate croissant, scrumptious, delectable. We walk to school. We see a hole in the wall.
In your school.
Well, in like the fence, like next to the field. And in that hole in the wall, we find the Korean to French dictionary. This has French words, and next to it is the definition of said French words in Korean. Best part 2, flip to the back. It wasn't just made. It was bought in Korea.
So the question is, what's it doing in this hole in the wall?
Exactly. Who came to America? Learn Korean so they can learn French via the Korean to French Bible. Not Bible. Dictionary.
Maybe it was a Korean person that was moving to the United States and was like, what language did they look? And they were like looking up Canada, and it's like, oh, Montreal, they speak French and everything like that. And then like showed up here in LA, and it's like, oh crap, it's English. I got the wrong one, and was basically chucked it.
Counterpoint. Hole in the wall.
Maybe it's
It
cursed.
was placed with.
So
Well,
when you reach in the hole in the wall, was it like in Silent Hill 2 where you're like, you know,
no, it was more like just, oh, cool.
well, you're taking away from the mystique if you're just like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
Like
well,
if you didn't have to stick your hand into some ungodly abyss in the middle of the wall and risk having your arm ripped off,
no, I just kind of grabbed it without a second thought.
well, then it's not really that impressive of a story then.
But it was still in a hole in the wall. That's kind of cool, right?
It's a little weird.
It's odd.
Like when you say a hole in the wall, was it more like a trash can on the curb?
No. Like, there was a hole in the wall. And inside the hole,
I'm telling you, this is like a Silent Hill 2 puzzle.
I think someone was trying to get it. I think someone was trying to solve some, like, puzzle. Maybe this is part of, like, some mystery. And it's like, it was, like, part of some, like puzzle. And it's like, turn the page 332.
Maybe somebody was planning a Silent Hill 2 puzzle, and then now James Sutherland comes to Lake Forest and all the fog comes in, and he's going to be trapped in the other world because he can't solve the puzzle because you pulled the damn book out of the hole in the wall.
It has been foggy recently. I'm sorry, man. I didn't understand. It was a whoopsie poopsie. I think the best part too about this book is that it's incredibly damaged. There's like bike marks on one of the pages, which is impressive that the book is still intact with bike
Well,
marks.
when was it bought? Because you said there was a thing in the...
When was it bought?
Yes, because you said... You can't tell because you can't read Korean.
I could not read Korean. From the looks of it, 1984.
So the thing was bought in 1984 and ditched like who knows when, stuck in a hole in the wall.
Wait, there's a map on the back of
Of
Paris.
Paris.
No.
Okay. So you're just fascinated with this stupid ass book that you found in the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
It's a dictionary.
The Korean to French dictionary, which I
Yes.
found on the wall, for someone who wants to learn French but already knows Korean,
Yes, that's usually what it's for.
which I found in Lake Forest in America.
Okay, granted, that is odd, but that's not...
How else would I learn such words like eucalyptus or
Seriously, you don't know the word eucalyptus?
delectable or
Are you sure that's the French the Korean dictionary? Because you're saying English words right now.
or bigot
You're reading English.
or bikini
You're reading English. Are you sure this is not an English to Korean
or
dictionary?
bejewel
Okay, finally, you've...
or passion or coalition
Again, that's English.
or lecture.
Lecture?
Lecture. No, it's a completely different word. Or gaucheur.
How can you tell? You can't read the definition because the definition's in Korean.
Or fulfillment.
Filament?
Fulfillment.
Okay, now you're just making shit up.
No, I'm not. Flip through this book real quick.
Well, you keep pulling out English words. Anyway,
It's French, is it not?
can we move on past the mystery dictionary?
Hand is back.
and talk about something, relevant.
So, club activity for my school, right?
How is this relevant?
Because it's funny.
Okay, I'm giving you a lot of leash on this, but then you're the one that wanted to wrap this up and get to bed.
But it's funny.
Let's go.
So, we need to come up with game theories, right? And what is the classic game theory of all time? Peach is secretly in love with Bowser. Hear me out, right? It makes sense when you think about it for more than 2 seconds.
I don't think about it at all.
But if you thought about it for more than 2 seconds, it makes sense, right? You're telling me, kingdom full of guys, kingdom full of little fellas, militia, they are armed, they have munitions, right? And none of them can hear and or see a giant aircraft bigger than the castle itself, making comical amounts of noise, flying through, sprouting a mechanical hand, and just yoink.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we done talking about nonsense?
I'm ignoring you now.
Don't we have a book review?
For what? The
Well,
French phrase Korean?
huh?
Korean, the French dictionary?
No. The
Oh.
book we read.
Yeah, the French Korean.
No. So you read the book, right?
Yeah.
You just don't know where you left it.
Yeah.
My autographed copy.
Yeah.
Of When Halloween Was Green.
Yeah.
So you lost my autographed copy.
Yeah.
Of When Halloween Was Green.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, you better find it.
I'll find it.
It better be in one piece because you borrowed perennials and didn't exactly come back pristine. So as I was saying, my copy of When Halloween Was Green by Bernard Keith Finnigan, the book I really kind of liked. This is one of the better books I've read. And you don't know where you left it.
I misplaced it.
So since we don't have the back of the book to read because you don't know where the book is,
Holy scrum.
why don't you didn't loan it to your girlfriend, did you?
No. Why did I do that?
I don't know. I thought she kind of was interested in that book.
Dude, she's Scottish.
Well, I mean, it's next to Ireland.
They hate the Irish.
Okay, whatever. She seemed interested. Maybe I misread. Whatever.
Okay, when Halloween was green, the Irish monsters of old Halloween have returned that the scare is gone from Middle America. With its celebrity-obsessed culture performing glitter, pirate, and princesses, Keith and Benny McCool's frightening haunted house attraction isn't getting the crowds it used to. When the few remaining Halloween enthusiasts start turning up dead, the McCools unearth the source of the problem. Something has awakened from Halloween's distant past. The cultic monsters and legends of old Ireland have discovered modern man has dumbed down every tradition that once protected mortals on the scariest night of the year, and they have plans this Halloween. But Keith and Benny have survived a lifetime of personal demons that possess insider knowledge on every Halloween fright ever devised. When the sun sets on October 31st, the McCools are the only ones who can confront the cultic horrors not witnessed in 2,000 years. This holiday is about to get scary. Fast. Oh yeah, that was my dramatic reading. You're welcome. Mwah. Kiss kiss.
So what did you think of the book?
It was good. Story good. Folklore good. Grammar bad.
So that actually spurred an episode we did a while back talking about editing. Because I was reading the book. I was really enjoying the story. But yeah, there was times when the justification was off, like it'd be correct and it was off, then it was correct again. There was grammar that was off, missing like quotation marks. The dude really needed a line editor, really. But that aside, the story was really solid. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed. I mean this. Well, I mean the guy's name is Finnigan, so I think he has some interest in Irish lore. But I mean he was doing deep dives into the Irish lore. origins of Halloween, of the Festival of Samhain and the legends about that and everything like that. So, I mean, this was a really rich book. And I mean, it was not a small book either. It was pretty. I would show you if my son hadn't lost the damn thing.
It is a tome.
It is like this. It is pretty goddamn thick.
It is like this.
Not quite that thick,
Well,
but
it's like
it's
it's like
it,
this thick.
it's a beefy book.
Yeah, it's unironically about this thick.
It's a beefy book.
It is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
It's thick and big.
So I mean, yeah, no, it is not a light read by any stretch of the imagination. But it is a good, solid book, and I thought it was um, very well done, very well told. Just the dude needs a line editor.
A little bit of the grammar.
Run it through Grammarly or something, because it needed it's got the foundations. It needs a fresh coat of paint. It's basically what it boils down to. The story is fine. I wouldn't change a word. Just, maybe add the occasional comma or parentheses or something, like.
Right. No, any editing.
Yes.
Crazy.
Well, there are two types of editing. There's content editing and there's line editing.
Line editing is
Okay.
what was needed.
Yes. So a content editor will go through and he'll look for things like plot holes. He'll come back with like, hey, this character's not developed enough. Why don't you do this with the character? Or you're trying to develop this theme, but maybe that would be stronger if you added this or this to the story, that kind of thing. That's a content editor, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a co-pilot to the author in terms of writing the book. A line editor, which is usually what I hire, is basically just making sure that you did all your commas, you're not having misspelled words, or more likely a homonym or a synonym.
Sorry, I'm translating everything you say into French real quick.
Good Lord.
Oh, I need my French. I need my French.
So a good line editor is going to make sure that you're literally crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's.
Encoder.
So I would not, Mr. Finnigan here does not need a content editor, but he does desperately need a line editor.
Desert.
As I was saying, Mr. Finnigan doesn't need a content editor, but he is desperately in need of a line editor. And that's what really hurts, I think, because this is a really good story.
It is a good spelunky.
And I feel like it's going to be marred by bad editing. But that's one of the beauties of doing print on demand and being an indie publisher, because he can just run that manuscript through a line editor, re-upload it, and then the next copy, nobody will know.
Yep.
Nobody will know it was ever messed up. I've actually done that on one of my books. I had actually two of my books. So the first one, The Last Rite, I relied on the computer to edit it, and people came back saying, "Oh, this is a great story." Kind of like my criticism of When Halloween Was Green. People were saying the same thing about my book. The story was great, the characters were great, but the editing was something to be desired. There's like an error on every page, kind of thing. So we had a friend go through and edit it, and she picked out all the
yucky bits.
not the misspelled words, because the computer will catch a misspelled word, but the wrong word.
Right.
Like if you meant to use TO instead of TOO, right? That kind of thing.
Right.
As an example. So then we cleaned up the book, The Last Rite, and then I re-uploaded it. And then I had her do the first edit of Intergalactic Space Force, and people still found errors in that. So I had somebody else do a second edit, and he caught a bunch of errors. Not as many as the first time, but then we uploaded that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, now, like we talked about this with Scott Campbell. When he was doing his book, he relied on Claude AI to be his editor. And he also was relying on his fiance, who was reading his book and said she served as a very good editor, and said, but even then they still found errors and that kind of thing. So there's two people I work with for editors. I just paid the bill for Liam Ford to start editing my last book, Fear,
Right.
which I may be changing the title, but that's a different story. Um, so he's going to start work on that, and he is expensive as hell, but he is so fucking good. He is excellent. I mean, he edited The Baby Eater, and that earned 4 awards. So I mean, the guy knows what he's doing.
Right.
Um, but he is expensive. So when I'm doing Intergalactic Space Force or short bites, I I go with Shannon, who is also very good. Not quite as good as Liam, um, but very good and way more affordable. I mean, Liam's going to cost me like $1,500. Shannon cost me like $300.
Right.
So big difference.
Big diffy.
Um, and Shannon does a pretty good job. But no, this is where I was like really circumspect of what Scott was saying about using Claude AI as an editor, because I've run my thing through automatic editors and found them lacking. I will usually run my stuff through a computer editor like Grammarly or something like that as like a first editing pass. But I've learned the hard way that's not sufficient. That's not enough.
Grammarly Pro.
I just don't think the computer is on up there yet. Now, I don't care what AI program you throw it at,
Pro.
it's just not good enough. So
Gram-
I think I think it's still the one thing that you really need a human being.
Have you seen the AI books?
The AI books?
Yeah, I'll show you that afterwards. Anyways, so yeah, good times. The book solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah, no, I would say um, fixes some of his quotation marks and his justifications. That's a 10 out of 10 book right there, I would say.
Yes.
So excellent book, even though we don't do stars, but that's all right. But excellent book.
And with this, we must. What? Anything we gotta plug? Anything we have to?
We always have something to plug.
Oh.
So start by where can they find us?
Uh, all of it.
All of it.
All of it.
That makes no sense.
The internet being it.
Well, where on the internet can they find us?
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok,
We do
our
have,
website.
we do, well, okay, thank you. So what is our website?
ShopSpectralInc.com.
Shop Spectral. It took us forever, but we finally got there. Yes, shopspectralink.com. There are links to our socials at shopspectralink.com.
Yeah.
There are, if you want to support the podcast, you can buy some of our merch. You can get the t-shirts, you can get the coffee mugs, whatever you want to get. You can buy our books. You can get the merch for our books, t-shirts, coffee mugs, shoes. There's actually a pair of shoes you designed up on the website.
Awesome sauce.
Yes. You also have a Patreon, patreon.podbean.com/indie author showcase if you want to help support the podcast. And one thing that we haven't really said that we should say at the end of every podcast, the number one thing that you can do to help the podcast, like, share, and subscribe.
Oh my god, you're a YouTuber.
They say that you actually have to say that in order to remind people to do it. Like people don't already know to do it unless you say it.
Everyone, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and hit subscribe.
There you go.
Oh my god.
You're now Matt Pat.
He doesn't even say it like that, man. He has some grace, some elegance. Don't disrespect Matt Pat.
And he's also centered in the camera, as opposed to you.
Don't disrespect Matt Pat like that. He's my goat. Looking hot. Anyways.
Hey, we got you like game theory gear and you wouldn't wear it.
Yeah, I'm
you're,
not wearing that.
You're like, I'm not wearing something from some YouTuber show.
I'm sorry. No, no, I'm not wearing that. Sorry.
No. But please go to our website and buy our merch. Says the person that doesn't wear YouTuber merch.
Yeah.
because he's just too cool for that.
Lock in, fellas. Buy what much. Uh, buy a beach towel with my face on it.
There's not a beach towel with your face on it.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, there's not going to be. We should do that. We should have like an indie author showcase one where it's just like our faces, like I'm all like, and you're like, I don't want to be here, and we'll plaster that on a beach towel.
Yeah, so that people can wipe their balls with my face. Don't think I like that idea anymore. Not a fan.
Okay.
No, I don't want. No, don't want that actually.
All right. So we got maybe one or two more for this year, and then we are done with 2024.
Yeah.
We're done with season 1.
Oh my god. There's gonna be more.
Oh, well, we got to come back with season 2, baby. We're popular. We got a whole like 3 people watching the show now.
This would be popular if they put me on live leak.
And with that, we'll see you next week.